Winthrop votes. Scott, how are we doing?
Doing all right, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking.
All right. I'm just checking our video stream. I gotta get in touch with Restream.
Why? What's going on?
Seems to glitch sometimes. I don't know. I got my Ethernet hooked in and everything, so I don't know.
Oh. Anywho.
So while we wait for people to come into the live stream, what's the latest?
Well, so I mentioned I was meeting Lydia today, and that we're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm just not sure how I feel about the whole thing. Like, I left, headed into that meeting, feeling prepared, and we'll talk about that more.
Okay.
But as we're waiting for people to stream in, I've been here and there posting stuff on our group page about Caroline Colarusso running as a Republican for a national Senate seat, which against Catherine Clark, it's a super long shot. I have no illusions. However, I do want, as hopefully people do watch the beginning of this show too, I do want to implore people to take a look at her and compare it to what we have right now. I mean, Catherine Clark. So Catherine Clark is in Washington, D.C., getting fake arrested with the likes of Ilhan, whatever, and AOC over the Roe v. Wade issue. And I know some people who might listen to this or hear what I have to say about it feel like it's an important issue. But at the same time, is it one for our senator to be dealing with on a national level? And by the way, this is to me how national politics gets, is local, right? She's someone we need to vote for. And we got abortion covered 6 ways to Sunday here. So, I feel like it's something that she's not using our time wisely. Why not give Caroline a look?
Yeah. I mean, but she's not long for that seat anyways. Doesn't she have her eye on something else?
Well, she wants to be the assistant speaker of the House, which means she'll still need to be in that seat, but she'll be more distracted. She'll be more focused on what's happening in the cities that, the liberal cities, the progressive cities.
Yeah.
And not just Boston and, the people of this part of the Commonwealth.
Right.
It's very disturbing to me anyway. Feels like a giant waste of time.
They love getting out there and pander to their audience. Yeah. That's what they do.
They do.
It's what politicians do in general, but it seems more on that side. They love getting out in front of the camera. And their people support it. Their people love that stuff. Their supporters are, oh, look at her. Oh, isn't she great? I don't know if that makes somebody great, No,
I don't.
But a lot of people don't vote with their brain anyways.
Well, but so this is kind of what part of our discussions are about, right? Like, listen, pay attention locally, folks. Like, really focus locally, because DC's a clown show. Why are you looking up over here at the clown show? And the state level, candidly, depending on which representative you're talking to, it's kind of more of the same. There's a lot of work people at the state level that are really focused on national issues, where Massachusetts right now, from a social, if we want to group everything under social justice, Massachusetts got it covered. We have safe spaces, we have ally programs, we have cities putting on parties, we have state senators sponsoring parties in Winthrop for the gay community. I mean, we don't lack diversity. I'm not sure where this all comes from.
Right.
I'm not sure. And there was an article too. I wish I lost it, but someone out there was talking pretty negatively about, Mayor Wu. Did you hear about Mayor Wu and LeBron James?
No. Jeez.
So LeBron James was pooping on Boston because all the fans are racist, and he was playing that whole race card on his show. And Mayor Wu, instead of defending us, instead of defending the city, because I'm sorry, I'm not buying his lies. He's a liar. Why is he the only one in the NBA? How many black guys in the NBA come through.
There's other NBA players that said they've had a little issue in Boston too.
Really?
But it's not only Boston. It happens in
right.
other cities.
That's what I mean. It's not right. There's the handful. I get it. There's this.
It's an old reputation.
That's right. And it's not. But it's not. When it happens everywhere. Anyway.
Yeah.
None of this stuff helps.
So you met with Lydia Edwards, Senator Edwards, today, yeah?
I did.
How did that go?
So 15, 20 minutes tops. Does that give you an inclination of how I was feeling about it?
She gave you 15 minutes?
Oh, no. I left. I left.
Oh, you left. Oh, okay.
I left, yeah.
So, all right. So tell us how it started.
So I swear to God, this was the image in my head when the door opened to go into her office. This is not a lie. So I had to wait in the waiting area with, I forget the gentleman's name from Winthrop. That's one of her aides. One of her other aides came in and said, okay, she's ready to see you, but you can't cut through here because our little office is messy. He was dead up straight honest, and I could smell the mess. It smelled like chicken cutlet sandwiches or something. So they walked me out of that office down the long hall to her main office door. And I swear to God, I felt like as soon as the door started opening slowly, I felt like I was in the scene in Cloud City when they're bringing Leia and Han Solo and Chewie. They think they're going to meet. I forget who they think they're going to meet, but it ends up being Darth Vader. I feel like the room was dark. It just was
dun, 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 dun.
Right. And it's not even a knock necessarily on her. It's not a knock. Yeah. I'm not knocking. And just it's the way it felt. The room was dark. There was the lit window behind her head. The building's old, as you know. The State House is an old building. So yeah, it was and not even a hello.
You got to expect that.
Well, okay. We talked. So let me take a step back, and maybe I missed the hello. I don't know, but if it was there, it wasn't all that quiet. Like I reached out to shake her hand, and I don't want to say it was reluctance to shake my hand, but there certainly wasn't. It was no eagerness to be warm and fuzzy. None. Zero, zip, zilch, nothing.
Did she give you the dead fish handshake?
I'll give her credit. It was better than that.
Okay.
It wasn't quite the
dead fish handshake. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Alanis Morissette writes about that in one of her songs. The shake is like a fish. Anyway. Yeah. So I knew right then and there that there was not much. I knew. And just in general terms, if I didn't ask questions or say something, it would have been this.
Well, you did request to see her. She didn't request to see you.
No, that
right.
Well, that's true, but she knows me, right? She knows me, Scott.
Yeah, doesn't mean she necessarily likes you either.
No, that's true, but she knows that I'm not there. I'm not why I'm coming there. I mean, I would think she would know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Right.
But anyway, so I just like. I don't know. It was this. I've never wasted more time in my life, as far as I'm concerned. So I small talk. How you enjoying being the state senator. This. I could tell that was not something she really wanted to engage in. So I said, let me get right to it. Let's not. I asked her about if she thought Winthrop was a inclusive community, and to me, that's a yes or no question. But as you can imagine, I didn't get yes or no. I got. Basically, and I can't remember verbatim, I got no more or less than any other town or city, as far as I can tell. No more or less than any other town or city, as far as.
So there you go. So we're not a standout, So she didn't commit to it, but she didn't say, yes, it's an inclusive, or no, it's not an inclusive town. Of course, she's not going to commit to that.
Right. No. Of course not. The follow-up was simple. Are we, do we think it's a racist town? It was basically, and then this was she got. I think maybe I'm misreading it. Maybe she was getting a little smug. Towns can't be racist. Well, Okay.
That's his political answer.
But she said, and again, no more in the context. I believe she said in the context of our discussion here, which this was the furthest thing from a discussion I ever heard, I ever had in my life. In the context of our discussion, no more or no less. Basically the same answer as inclusive. So let's pause there for a second. My question now, and by the way, I thought I was prepared for this. I was not prepared for a non-conversation. I was not prepared for the silent, I would call it silent hostility, honestly. It was a hostile feeling in the room for sure.
Yep. Now remember who she's friends with.
Well, she's not, I brought that up. They're not her friends.
Well,
she talks to many people in the town is what she said to me. Many people.
Many. I don't see it. I mean, yeah, well, she also said there's no definition for critical race theory. Not the brightest bulb in the state house, I can tell you that.
So, or is she? Or is she? Because okay, I asked that question too. That
what,
came
is she
up.
the brightest bulb in the state house?
No, I said, you know what CRT is, don't you? You know, it's just that you could do a simple Google search, right? She knew I was referencing the conversation when she came to Winthrop for the Republican Town Committee thing. And she said, yes, but we got into a little bit of a debate about what the question was I asked. And she was right in everything she said to me in a nutshell, except for the fact that she kept essentially denying that she deflects, because she is a master deflector. She absolutely, you ask a question, she's going to ask one back. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book, but she does it well with a smile on her face. She's good at it. Back when she came to that Republican Town Committee, and I asked her if she thought CRT should be in schools, she answered the question with the question, what is CRT? Or how, right? Now, in that environment, you knew full well I got one question, so I take back what I said, that I thank her for coming to that, because I think it was a waste of everyone's time, because you get to ask her one question, then you can come back around and maybe ask another, but you don't get to probe into the questions. So I
would say that format was set up by Paul Caruccio.
I know. I know.
So you can't really blame her for that.
Well, I don't know if it was true or not that she wouldn't do it under any other circumstances. I don't know. I can't. But regardless, I wouldn't have done it that way. I would not have done it that way. She was offended. She didn't use these words. I don't want to put words in her mouth, because she seems to be very good at remembering specifics that are said, like the question I asked at the meeting that night. So I don't want to put words in her mouth. But she seemed to be upset by the fact that she was grouped in with the lurkers that were watching my party. Like I basically, she's heard so
interesting.
This was in the context of the conversation that she does not want to sponsor anything with Winthrop votes. Nothing.
Nope. No, she wouldn't. Not with us. No.
I mean, and it wasn't a polite no. It wasn't a polite decline. It was indignant. And I would say that I would say her tone almost the entire time was like indignant. I'm smarter than you. And you're not gonna, and maybe she felt like I was there to trick her. I don't know. I can't blame her because she's basing here's my disappointment to everyone in Winthrop that voted for this person. You voted for someone who has no interest in anybody but the one group. She has no interest in the rest of us, and she proved it. And I might not be the best representative to go there, but I'm what you got, because no one else is interested in doing it.
Well, we don't know. We can't say that, because there might be, Leonora Foley.
They're definitely over there.
She's
in
chumming
there,
up, eating
Leonora
chicken
Foley's got her
subs with her.
Leonora Foley's got her air. She's sending her emails. All that stuff is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but we are out as general rule. We are out. Our party was. She used some very derogatory language. I gave her permission to, because she was trying to be polite first. I'm like, you can't hurt my feelings. Say what you want. Well, flags here, flags there, poorly attended, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why didn't you come over? She's like, I didn't want to. I'm like, Okay, why not? Because I didn't want to. Again, whoa, I didn't want to.
The
And it's like,
attitude,
well, you know what though? You like pizza because it tastes good. You don't want to take the trash out because it stinks or whatever. There's a reason. You don't want to share the reason? I mean, she could be less interested in that. She couldn't be less interested in dialogue with anybody but the people she agrees with. That's
the liberal left. That's a fact.
Well,
that's the liberal left.
Is that not disappointing though? Is that not? We are
the liberal left are the ones that voted for her. So she plays to her constituents, and they're all the hive. Remember, the hive mentality. That's what that is. The Borg.
Well, then I guess there is no hope, and I guess I just give up.
Not with her. There's no hope with her, and I don't think that there ever would be in any sense for anyone other than a leftist liberal that she knows is a vote for her.
Scott, she even took issue with the post today when I put up the post. Today's the day I'll be meeting with Lydia. We will be discussing tonight. We'll be discussing my conversation with the senator. Should be very interesting. Sean Hickey asked if he should get the popcorn. I write, probably not. I'm expecting some pretty political answers, but hoping for the best. She took issue with that, like as if that was some kind of really derogatory comment towards her and a reason that she shouldn't have come over to us at the party and talked to us. She's seen enough, she said.
Seen enough?
Yeah, she's seen enough of my view through things like that on Facebook.
Well, I said that to you today. She knows you. She knows what you stand for.
But she doesn't.
Well, let me rephrase that. She knows that you lean to the right.
Okay.
She knows that you have opposing views than the liberal left.
Yep.
Right there makes you an enemy.
Well, that's a different story, but okay.
Right there makes you an enemy. She has no desire to talk to or engage anybody outside the hive mentality. So she gave you her time. And what I think is interesting is something you just said. Somebody showed her that Winthrop Votes group. So somebody said, hey, this is what he wrote.
Oh, she's watching it.
Yeah, yeah. So that in itself says something. We have her attention.
Well, this might be the end of it. Like I see.
Well, that's fine. She could fall off the end of the earth. As far as I'm concerned, because it's not going to matter. We're not going to know anything she's going to say. She's not going to give you anything. She's not going to give Winthrop anything other than pander to her hive mentality, her Borg here in Winthrop. And that's all she's going to do. Those are her constituents. Those are the people that she plays to. Anyone else is the enemy.
I have no delusions about Winthrop or Winthrop Votes having any ability to impact her next election in 2024.
No. But I never know.
But I will say,
I don't know where we're going to be in 2024.
Well, that's true too. But I will say that there were several people who voted for Lydia that knew of her behavior at our little party there when she was at the for kids only for this ice cream social or something for the kids. They were disappointed in that. Again,
so what would be a win? What would be a win is in 2024 when we're still doing this show. If she doesn't win Winthrop, that's a win. I don't care. She's going to take Revere and she'll take, whatever other towns. Yeah, she'll take that.
Cambridge, yeah.
And she'll get reelected, I'm sure.
No question.
But the win would be if she doesn't win Winthrop. That sends a message to a politician. If they don't pay attention to that, then they're dumb as a bag of hammers. If they don't pay attention to a town that they lost and don't do anything to try to reconnect with that town. So that's wherein lies she wants to draw the line in the sand and not acknowledge anything other than her hive mentality, she, hers, theys, thems, things, you know,
well,
the liberal left.
Let's play fair for a minute. All right.
All right.
Maybe I am so, in her view, I'm so toxic and distasteful that anybody but me should have been the one she spoke to. So maybe she is willing to work across the aisle and I'm just the distasteful one. I mean, she did come to the Winthrop Republican Town Committee.
But do you think she's really going to give anyone else an answer? You know, is Winthrop a non-inclusive town? Well, no more, no less than any other town.
Oh, no, yeah.
So, I mean, she would have said that to anybody. She's not going to commit to an answer like that. But the answer is really, does she think Winthrop is a non-inclusive town? Yes, I think it's a non-inclusive town. Because if she didn't think that, she would say, no, I don't see that at all. Right? So her answer was yes, she thinks Winthrop is non-inclusive. Again, because of her little earwigs that get in her ear and tell her that it's such a bad place. So that was a yes. And as far as is Winthrop a racist town? Well, again, she's going to come to the table and say, oh, no more than no less than any other town. She'll say that if she thought it wasn't, she would say, no, I don't think it is. So she gave you her answers. Yeah. They just weren't direct answers. You can't take it any other way than that. No, you know, I mean, if you really think about it.
Of course. I mean, there's a lot said in the political answer, right? Yeah. And that one, I mean, the obvious political gamesmanship that I mean, it was a power move. It was a power move to invite me to come in. You know, I reached out. It was to invite me to come in rather than meet for coffee or some casual place. It was a power move, my office.
Yeah.
And then not even to give me a parking spot. And then, you know, tell me they can't, which I know that's a lie. So I got one anyway. So when I got there, her aide was like, oh, did you end up taking the train? And I'm like, nah, I got a pocket spot from someone else I know at the State House, but thank you anyway. He said, oh, we're so sorry we couldn't give you a parking spot. I felt like saying, no, you're not. I know you're not. I know you're lying to me.
I would have looked right at him and did a Larry David. Are you really? Are you really sorry? Are you really sorry?
Are you really sorry? I mean, come on.
Are you really sorry?
They're not sorry. I mean,
think so.
But okay, so all right, so let's go this angle for a second. Why not fake it? Why not say I am a uniter, not a divider? Why not?
She doesn't like you.
Doesn't matter. Fake it.
She won't fake it.
I can see that.
She won't because you don't mean anything to her.
Well,
she thinks, you know, she's in a seat which doesn't make her any better, any smarter. Doesn't make her any more than what she really is. You know, she was put into that position. She was put into that seat, you know, so she's going to sit in that seat. And now it's like, yeah, you can't do anything to me. I'm here and I don't need you. I don't need your people.
Well, then I guess you can put her in the same category as everyone else that says inclusion that shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, again, they can be a hateful group.
I mean, there is to have as much disdain for me as she had, and it was obvious. It was all over her face. To have that much disdain for someone you've never even had a conversation with, and then to not have to invite them in and not have a conversation with them. I mean, I don't know whether to be insulted. I don't know how to take all that or to laugh about it. Like, is this the childish game we're going to play?
Evidently.
I mean, if she knew me, she'd know that I've admitted the mistakes I've made and the way I've done things in the past. She would, if she knew me.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's the fact that you're a conservative. You're a pretty strong conservative with conservative values that don't go with her agenda, that don't go with her mindset, the hive mentality. I can't say that enough. The Borg mentality that they all have. Right? Anyone outside the Borg, they don't want to deal with. And she knows she has a little constituency in Winthrop and little feeders to her.
Well, little. Because if Winthrop turned out to vote, she would have lost Winthrop long before we got involved in this. Winthrop didn't show up. She wouldn't have not have won Winthrop. She wouldn't have.
Well, we weren't We weren't moving the needle back then. We're moving the needle now. So
well, yeah, and I hope the people that voted for her. I mean, we do. Winthrop does not have representation with any progressives, none. Even the kid that was running against her. But at least he could have been lying, faking, whatever to me. But he made me feel like he'd listen. And he's like, look, I can't agree with you on this, but I can agree with you on that. Like, he had an ability to have a conversation. I'll take that. That's better than what I have now.
So it shows that she's spiteful. She's small-minded. She's not open to any type of bridge. None of them are. None of them want to build a bridge to the middle. None of them.
Nope.
You know who does? You know who I give credit to? Wendy Millar.
Interesting you bring that up.
I give her, but she at least has dialogue, and she knows we don't agree with her, and she doesn't agree with us. But she's willing to have dialogue with us, right? So whether that's however she's using that, I don't know. Maybe she's fooling me. I don't know.
Her and I had I'll call it a conversation last week, and let's put it this way: I had to give her a hug because I was very upset. I took some things very personally, and probably should have let her speak first. But the long and the short of it is, she tries, and the reason I think it's interesting you brought her up is because I sent her a text before the show, and I said, Wendy. I didn't say Wendy. In my mind, I'm like, Wendy's the one that dialogue.
Yes.
Well, I wrote a text where your fearless leader is not interested in dialogue at all. And she's like, you got to clue me in who you're talking about. I told her Lydia.
Yeah.
And I would hope that people like Wendy, if they have her ear, would encourage her to engage in more dialogue with people she disagrees with, because we want to be represented. It's about addition, not subtraction.
She'll represent when it benefits her and the liberal left. It's just the way Massachusetts is. I'm not saying anything that anybody doesn't already know. And if they don't know, they've lived under the proverbial rock for the last, 50 years.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, we can talk about inclusivity and all this other stuff, but it's really not. It's not. It's exclusive, because it depends on what's the flavor of the day.
Well, I mean, inclusivity to them is, I want what I want, and you better give it to me, or I'm going to protest it. You're not being inclusive because you're not giving me what I want. That's their version of inclusivity. Just like they want to fly the pride flag. I will never forget this when you were live streaming the meeting for the town council, and that one lady said, I'll help you write it. I'll help you write it so the town doesn't get sued. In other words, I'll help you write it for my flag, but nobody else's, because we don't care about anybody else's. We don't care about anybody else's issues, anybody else's complaints. We care about ours. They're not like, hey, we'll write it in a general way where we can fly more flags. Well, Dave Phillips says the left rule because we let them. Not necessarily. It's Massachusetts is a Democratic stronghold. That's all there is to it. Always has been. Always will be. I had to get out of there to break that mindset. And that took years. I told you, I walked away, what was it now, 8 years ago. Eight or so years ago, I walked away. I was like, oh, whoa, this ain't my Democratic Party anymore. It's not even my liberal party. This is a whole different ball of wax that I just don't, I don't get it.
So the other thing I found interesting, so she was trying, I don't know if did I mention this already? She was trying to be polite about the party, right? And I says, you can't hurt my feelings. And she said it was poorly attended.
Yeah, because you announced it 5 days prior, and it was on a Friday from 3 to 6.
But she denied sponsoring the Pride Party in Winthrop. She's like, they sponsored that. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, and I don't want to get into an argument with them. Like, it was on your freaking Facebook page. If Lydia Edwards was coming to the Winthrop Votes party, there would have been 100 people there.
Wasn't it said? Was it at the town council meeting when someone said, and it took a state senator to scramble at the last minute?
Yes.
So someone's
lying.
Somebody's lying here.
Yep.
So either she's lying or she's calling one of her constituents a lie, because it was said right there. It took the state senator to come in and scramble at the last minute to put this together because the town council didn't put a blah, 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 blah.
I believe that was Lee Foley. And I believe
in other words, blah, 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 blah.
Lydia told me I have
Lee Foley, she, her.
Oh, sorry.
You got to give her pronouns.
You have a real problem with her. She said her. You didn't say she, her. I said, I really don't. This is the honest to God's truth. I'm glad she's been neutralized to a degree, right?
Don't lay down on it.
Well, no. But what I'm suggesting is it's not as loud. You know, Tracy's still not trying to push through that
ship sailed.
Yeah,
that ship
right.
Sailed. That issue is so July.
But she's quiet now.
So
on the
June,
council. She's quiet. She doesn't say much. She's not planning on running again. Like, people are walking away from Lee Foley. The recce has walked away from Lee Foley. Other people.
Well, let's not bring up. We don't want to bring up names.
But anyway, people are walking
their
away
decision.
From her. And the point is, she's a divisive figure, more so than anybody in this town right now.
Well, all right. I'm going to be nice about this. I am. I'm not going to be crude like we know I can be if I really want to be. But I'm going to say, listen, you can only be a victim so long. You can only go to that well so many times before every issue that comes up, it becomes a whole major thing. I could be wrong, but I think she really she just dwells on being a victim. I could be wrong. It's just what I've heard. Like that night at the town council, she said I had a beautiful thing written down here, but now I can't say it because I'm afraid to say it. I had a beautiful speech I was going to read, and now I can't because I'm afraid. So, why would you say something like that? Why would you say something like that? And because that's a victim mentality.
Right.
It truly is. I don't know. Maybe again, I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about it, but she just seems always, she went to the town council meeting and started, roping off about, I feel threatened. And, somebody, meaning you, or maybe this show, is they're bad mouthing and blah, 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 blah. It's like hate. She wants to be hated so she can scream about it. I'm not a psychologist. I just play one on this show.
Well, I feel like in general terms that this one Winthrop thing had a lot of steam, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this one Winthrop thing has lost some steam. I don't think it's dead and gone. And quite frankly, amongst all the bad ideas, and at least what I think are bad and silly ideas, there's got to be something good that comes out of there. I mean, we need some people to keep us in check, do we not?
Well, let's say they had the upper hand. They had the microphone for a little bit of time. They had the microphone. It had its own cult following, but also, I don't know how many members were there, 500 members, 300, 150, whatever membership they had, right? Which has dwindled according to you. A lot of those people are there just to lurk and go, because you'd be amazed at what I get sent. There's people on there that aren't pro one Winthrop.
Right.
So you can't really look at, they had the microphone for a little while. They were running wild. and kind of getting what they want. They got that pride flag flown it was a year ago, June. And I have to say, then we came along and we started off slow. It was because we didn't really have but no one really knew about it. But I think there's a big group of people that have started watching the show saying, yeah, you know what? That's right. That's right. That's right. There's a lot saying that's wrong too. But that's why I always say we move the needle. We move the needle a little bit in Winthrop. Do you agree?
For sure. I mean, there's what I think people don't understand is while 300, we average between 400 and 700 views of our shows, depending upon obviously the topic, the guest, and the time of year. But that doesn't mean we're not getting literally thousands of unique visitors to the group page. And that also doesn't mean that those same people aren't watching it on someone else's phone, or maybe they're sharing a common account. Who knows? People get creative to keep their name out of things. But I've been told by several different people that there's a very quiet, like a silent majority type thing going on, where, to your point, that's right. That, we don't agree with that so much. But on all the big important things, going back to Phil Boncory's election or Jim Lettieri's election, on all the big things, I think that we swim in the majority opinion.
So Father Walter just messaged in it was not one Winthrop that got the flag flown, but I'm sure they had something to do with it. Maybe it wasn't them per se, but I can't think that the people that run that Facebook group didn't have any involvement in that.
I think it was the guy that ran for precinct 3 down the point. And maybe some people from One Winthrop might have had it unofficially been part of it.
Yeah. I'm not saying that they had
One Winthrop wanted it. There's no question they wanted it.
All right. So Father Walter says no.
All right. Stop being cryptic.
No, I will admit that I'm wrong then.
Yes.
Yes.
What?
Which one
Nope.
is it?
Yes. What is
no.
it?
Yes.
Hey,
at least Father Walter gives you yes and no answers. Lydia Edwards wouldn't. Lydia Edwards wouldn't give you a yes or no. You can always depend on Father Walter to give you the right answers or the straight answers.
To go back to, by the way, what we were talking about with the kind of the leftists in the worldview and the shutting down of conversations, right? Like Lydia didn't want to talk to me. Lee doesn't want to talk. Nobody from the left wants to talk, right? Well, a couple of guys, as you may or may not know, who serve on the ORC with me, the Ordinance Review Committee, with me, are way further left. They're on the Julia Wallace, Lee Foley side of leftism. Okay. And one of the people on the committee, not once, twice, was personal with me. I won't get into details just now, but the bottom line is I reached out to him to have a conversation and he saw no need to meet.
Well, isn't that like 1 out of every 3 people you ask will have a conversation?
It is unbelievable. And by the way,
it's hate. It's all hate.
Oh, the kid's dead wrong. Like he completely, one of the issues was we were debating recall language and he was really concerned about it. So I said, wait, can I just ask you what you're worried about? And he's like, well, frankly, I'm worried about you. Me. All right. And I'm like, and he's like, oh, filing these frivolous, because he wants to put guardrails. He wants to play daddy and put guardrails on what you can recall. And we're like, no, trust the electorate. Like, you're not their father. You're not smarter than everybody else. You don't get to decide what the electorate wants. If we're going to do a recall, we should do a recall for the electorate, not for you and your guardrails. I mean, anyway, but it was such and not even an apology for being a dink.
Oh, no. You're not going to get one, so don't expect one.
I wish it was at times, Scott, though, I wish it was the old days, right? Like,
yeah, but it's not.
I know it's not.
It's not. When things got handled a different way, and that's that. But
right.
Those days are done, and and it never really it was self-satisfaction more than getting anything accomplished, if you know what I mean.
But you know, 9 out of 10 times you ended up being friends. At least I did. You know what I mean? If I was bullied and I stood up to the bully, we ended up being friends after.
Yep. Hold on.
Father Walter, damn delay.
You're on Winthrop Votes live stream.
Hey, it's Rob DeMarco. How are you?
Hey, Rob, well, thanks for calling. Hey, so I run the replays during the weekend, right? And I go and I check.
I messed up.
And I'm reading it. I'm reading the comments, and it's only Rob. And I think, when did I do it? Sunday night, I think. Yes. And it says, how come you're not answering the phone?
I thought you guys were doing an impromptu Sunday night session. When I started listening, and I'm like, oh, I'll call in. And I'm like, they're not answering the damn phone.
I believe I labeled it a replay of Monday night's show.
Yeah, I got that. I got that after the 4 calls that I made to you.
You're the best, buddy. You're the best.
What's going on, big guy?
What's up, man?
So I just wanted to tell you guys, I agree with most of the decisions that you guys have made in terms of, I do believe if you go forward with it, that I think 4 years for the president makes sense.
Yes. Now let's reference that. Let's let whoever's the people that are watching. The ordinance committee wants to make the town council president a 4-year position instead of a 2-year position, because no one gets anything done in that town in 2 years. And then other positions. I think they said that they'll just be just
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years for the councilman at large. Wants to make it everything at large, right?
Yeah. Well, it goes back and forth. There's some discussion whether, from what I heard, whether they want to eliminate town councilors at large, and if that comes up for a vote, I'll recuse myself because it's whatever the people want.
Ride out your time. Write out your time. Don't.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work out, but I'm staying out of that if that's the case. That's not my call. So it's whether they want them all at large or whether they just want to do precincts and shrink the body down to 7. I don't know how I feel about that. I think we're okay the way we are right now. But like I said, any vote like that, I would recuse myself because that would directly affect me. But I agree with the 4 years for the council president. I'm fine with the 2 years for the other counselors. I also like the fact that you can have a recall. I know there's a lot of people who don't like the recall process, and I don't know exactly how it's going to be made up, but I like the fact that we're held accountable. I think that's very important. Like, hey, if you screw up, we can throw you out. I think that's very important.
Let me provide some color for that just a little, because you're right, Rob. And what's even better about the recall that what seems to be the majority opinion of the ORC is that we want the 2 and 4 years. We want all at-large counselors, no more precinct counselors. We don't need, Winthrop's too small for that. But the big pushback that's been coming from two of the people on the committee about this recall language is it could be contentious, it should have guardrails, But what's beautiful about what we're proposing is the 2 years, right? Having most of your counselors be 2 years only every 2 years kind of eliminates the necessity for a recall, because in the first 6 months and the last 6 months, you can't recall them. So you would have to year in the middle.
You would have to do something really, really wrong. That would necessitate somebody recalling you in
500 signatures. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Now the question is, like, that's not the same for the president.
As far as a recall,
it will. Yeah, if it's all at large, it will be. It's going to depend on, because precinct councilors don't need as many signatures, but president does. Anything that's at large.
What I'm saying is the president would have a larger window to be recalled.
Yeah, because it'll be 4 years.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, but Scott, sorry.
I know we look alike. Me and Rob look alike. I know I can confuse us.
No, Rob has more hair than you.
I don't even get
it. Are you breaking up, Rob? Is that your phone?
No, I think I'm good. What do you got? Can you hear me?
Oh, you're good now.
You're
Yeah,
good.
you
You're
can
good,
hear
yeah.
you now. So what do you? So Rob, here's the other thing. You guys you may not be able to recuse yours, or you may have to not vote for two things, because I believe the size and makeup of the council is going to be one vote, and then the terms is going to be another vote. So you may be.
Yeah, no, I would probably. So anything that would eliminate my position, technically, I would recuse myself from. I didn't really think yet about the two eliminated positions on the council. I got to think about that more. I think you're right. I would probably have to recuse myself from that as well.
I think
Why wouldn't you ride out? I'm sorry, Todd. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Did I upset you?
No. No, go ahead.
Buried your face in your hands. I'm like,
no,
we're not hurting feelings on this show, are we?
I didn't think anyone could hurt his feelings.
I don't have any.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Rob, I would say don't recuse yourself. Ride out your time, then just run again. That's it.
Well, I mean, I firmly believe I'm one of those term limit guys. I just, it seems like I've been perpetually running for this seat since 2019, and I just wanted one at last 4-year term. And then, if I serve till 2025, 2026, you know what? It's time for fresh ideas and new people, and I'll get out and do something else.
Well, Jim stayed on for how long? Right?
15 years, 16 years, yeah.
So just, again, it's your decision. I would say
that's Jim's business. He has, that has nothing to do with me. It's just
in a sense it does. Yeah. It means you don't have to just, like, I would say, never say never. Don't set a time. You'll know when it's time, but don't set a time because you might not be ready. Something might be happening in the town and your teeth are sunk into it and you're like, but I'm leaving. Well, who would want that, right?
We might need you, Bob. We might need you, Rob.
Well, he's very neutral. He can give good Lydia Edwards answers.
Yeah, how long you been watching, Rob? Have you been watching the whole show?
Tonight, yes.
Oh, really?
So Rob can give some nice roundabout answers.
Yes, he can. He's good. He's good like that. Were we too hard on her, Ward?
No comment. No comment on our current senator.
All right. I mean, that's a smart answer. Smart answer. You don't want to get involved in that. That's our fight.
Lydia's always been very good to me personally.
So, Rob, what's going on in the town council? That is there anything coming up? Is there anything that you want to let us know?
Well, I mean, you guys should be talking about one tree on Somerset Ave. That would probably be believe it or not, probably the biggest issue in town right now is one tree on Somerset Ave.
What tree is it?
It's the one. It's at 190 Somerset, but it has now been nicknamed the Somerset tree, like it's an historical landmark.
Scott, you remember where Somerset is, right? Off of Pleasant.
Yeah.
And it goes down to Johnson Ave.
Yeah.
Before you get to Johnson, there's a street that cuts through Prescott that goes over to, I think it's right. It's on that corner. It is a beautiful tree. I'm gonna, for 1 second, let me side with the tree nuts. And they'll hate me
a very healthy
that.
tree. Very healthy tree.
It's a healthy and beautiful tree. There's nothing wrong with the tree. It is growing into the man's property. That's true. There's now evidence that it's growing. It's ADA non-compliant. It's also probably going to grow into a sewer line if it hasn't already, which is a huge expense. But I was actually not necessarily for cutting it, but coming to some compromise now, partly because of the way they've been treating. Candidly, they've been treating the owner of the home pretty poorly. We have a Facebook group. Rob, what's the name of that Facebook group?
Save the Tree.
Save the Trees.
No, I think Winthrop loves trees.
Winthrop loves trees. They have been awful to the family, like awful.
It's a Facebook group, right?
Oh yeah.
What do I always say, Todd, about Facebook groups?
Pool.
They always turn into a garbage can. Eventually, every Facebook group turns into a garbage can, except for, like, I'm on a slow cooker Facebook group. They're nice people.
How do you turn that into a cesspool?
Well, there was an argument one time on whether you use cinnamon or apple spice in your pumpkin pie. So I don't know.
Whoa, that must have got really heated.
It was heated. Those ladies were going at it.
Cinnamon.
Here we go.
I'll give you the name of the Facebook group. You can go in and I don't know.
What night do they debate?
So people are just being vicious to this person?
Yeah, they're being mean, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I actually went to the last meeting, and the only reason I went, it wasn't because I wanted to display my opinion on whether the tree should come down or not. In fact, at the last town council meeting, I asked questions which were pretty much dedicated towards, is there a way we can keep this tree? Like, and from all the answers I got, I didn't see a positive way to do that. But I went to the meeting on the tree because I said, number one, you know what, tree warden Paul O'Donnell, whatever your decision is, I trust you'll make the right one. So I didn't throw an idea at him, and then I just asked, I just said, why are we attacking this family who is having their property damaged? And I just said, if it was my property, I would either want them to take down the tree, and if they didn't, then I would want the town who's refusing to help me to compensate me in some way for the damage done to my property. That just seems to make common sense to me. And I got some flack for that, and I'm dealing with that now. But I mean, that's how I feel. If a tree was damaging my property and the town refused to take it down, I would want to be compensated on the damage to my property because it's the town that's damaging my property. And don't we have enough lawsuits?
So can't they come in and just cut that section of roots? Because I've done that. I did that to a tree in my front yard. I had this gigantic black olive tree when I lived in Hollywood. This thing was the mother tree.
I think that, though, would also be part of the compensation standpoint, too, because
keep the tree, cut the root system.
You'd have to cut the roots through their property. So you would have to break up their retaining wall and then and go through there, and then you'd have to repair their retaining wall.
Yeah, and I think you run into problems as to where it's actually pretty deep into the tree where you'd have to cut the roots. So now you might have issues with the tree staying up. It is 100-year-old tree.
If it's 100 years old, then those roots are already down.
That tree
ain't going anywhere. It's not like you get hurricanes, like real hurricanes up there.
The other thing that nobody talks about, though, is the equality issue, because we have people who talk about equality all the time. What about our handicapped people who can't get down the street? Okay, we want to talk about equality and having an inclusive neighborhood. I mean, if you can't get down the street because you're handicapped or you're blind because of the tree, now you have another issue you have to worry about.
So for the people of Winthrop Loves Trees, that Facebook group, this is a rhetorical question. How many trees have you actually planted? The answer is 0. Okay, the answer is absolutely 0. In my opinion, instead of fighting a fight in a neighborhood that's not yours, which to me is completely arrogant, to think you should be.
Hey, Todd, we have gotten correspondence from people on Somerset. I'm talking just the people on Somerset. 5 or 6 correspondents. Not one wants the tree to stay up. So everybody who is commenting and sending messages to the town council, none of them.
They don't live on the street.
They don't live on the street.
They don't live on the street.
The street wants it down.
So my suggestion, and I spoke to the ringleader, who shall remain nameless, because she's someone I'm considering a friend. I'm a little annoyed at this particular issue, but
she's a good person. She's a very good person.
The simple answer is take all that energy, do some fundraising, and go plant trees in Winthrop. I got 15 trees planted on my street. 10 years ago or so, a little longer. It took me 2 hours of my time. 2.
All right, let me interrupt you. So
Yeah.
Carla LaConte said, also worthy of note is this tree was first brought up over 400 days ago, and 2 outside arborists have deemed it dangerous. And I was going to say, has there been like a study in a sense?
That is true. I've seen the studies. That is absolutely true. Yep.
So yeah, that kind of leans in the direction of something's got to go. If they're saying it's dangerous, and
it's going to the town, Rob's gonna have to vote on it. That tree's coming down because if you guys vote to keep it up, you got financial issues, ADA compliance issues. That tree's coming down.
So I was actually told by somebody that we know, Todd, that I should recuse myself from that vote because I went to the tree meeting and actually talked about it. When at the time I had no idea it was coming to us for a vote. I mean, I can tell you right now, I'm not knocking Paul O'Donnell at all, but I can tell you right now, if Jack Dowd was the tree warden, he would have made a decision. He would have stuck with it, and that would be it. It would never come to the town council.
It got punted. It did get punted. That's the whatever. But now
why are they
sending
it to us when they're supposed to be the experts?
Well, that wouldn't that be up to Jim to talk to him and say, hey, listen, this is your committee. Why? And I think Jim should ask him personally, why are you sending it to us?
We have on the town council.
What's that?
Right? I mean, how many arborists do we have on the town council? How many tree experts do we have on the town council? Why is this coming to us? I have no idea.
I think they need to make the decision, not the town council. It needs to be. That's why, like you said, that's their committee. That's what he's there for.
Well, all right. So let me ask a question. Does the arborist make the decision based upon a financial decision, or just the health of the tree decision, or both?
Well, it says it's a safety. It sounds like, according to.
I mean, it's ADA
Carla
issues,
said.
it's lawsuit issues, it's safety issues, it's money, it's all of the above, really.
I think if it's deemed dangerous, that's all you really need.
Well, I would say that I wish the person that we all know was watching, because she has arguments that say she has supposedly studies that call into question the results of the studies that these arborists did, and thinks these trees are perfectly healthy. I mean, the tree looks healthy to me. Others say it's a danger. Well, based on what? Well, I don't know.
It can be a healthy tree and still be dangerous.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
The tree, you said the tree is beautiful. It's healthy. So
right.
That's not the problem. It's evidently the root system is causing it to be dangerous.
Okay. Oh. And I don't know. Right. What did the report say, Rob? What is dangerous about the tree? Oh, did we lose him?
What the reports talked about was the passageway for people going down the street, and what they were talking about was what were the options if you didn't fix it. One would be a bump out that would be $200,000 for the town to bump out the sidewalk,
go around the tree. Yeah, okay.
That was one. The other one was to put a crosswalk before the tree, and then put a crosswalk after the tree so somebody could cross the street, then go around, then go back across. Imagine being handicapped or blind and having to figure that out. Those were essentially the two options.
Yeah.
And it's still the owner is the one being affected in the end.
And the owner's having their property damaged. I mean, that's what kills me is, and people have accused me of being really close with the family at that house.
Do you even know these people, Rob?
I do know them. I went to high school with Mike. Right. But I don't hang out with him on the weekends or anything. You know what I mean? Mike and I talk occasionally. He was a freshman when I was a senior. He's helped me out at WCAT every once in a while. He held me responsible for hundreds of dollars of parking tickets. I had to pay those. It's not like he gave me a break on that, So yeah, I know him. We have respect for one another, and we like one another. But I haven't hung out with him or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's
hey.
So.
Let me change the subject for 1 second. What's the Choco Taco?
The The chocolate taco. It's an ice cream. The Choco Taco. It's an ice cream sandwich.
Oh.
Tino, that's Tino. Tino's telling us the woke mob just canceled the Choco Taco.
Well, according to Joe Biden, it's all well and good.
Ringing.
I think we got cut off again. Oh. You're on Winthrop Live.
Hey guys, it's Kathleen Capuccio.
Hey Kathleen, how are you?
So I'm sorry I'm late, but I was just at a really enlightening, to say the least, forum for the Suffolk District Counties race. There's no question who will have my vote. Yes, both the sitting DA and the other gentleman who's absolutely not qualified and absolutely is just wrong in so many ways. Both are, relatively progressive. But Mr. Arroyo is absolutely not qualified for this job.
He's not the sitting one. He's the opposition, right?
Yeah, Hayden is sitting.
I've been working on getting him to come on. There's an outside chance Hayden might come on the show.
Oh, have Hayden on. I'm going to be doing a coffee hour. I just spoke to him. I'm going to be doing a coffee hour hopefully in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Arroyo is absolutely anti-police. He doesn't want police to be engaging with ever our students or within schools. I asked a question regarding or clarifying a statement that actually Kate made about over policing in schools and having our schools be what do you call it? I don't know, pretty much on lockdown because of police or something. And he clarified it and said, no, I don't think our schools are currently over policed. And it's funny because when Arroyo answered, he looked directly at the moderators, didn't look at me at all. And I was the second speaker after, I was watching every other person that spoke, and he engaged every one of those people in the eye. This man is immature. He is not ready. He's got no polish. He was on his cell phone numerous times while Mr. Hayden was taking notes. The guy is he's wrong. He's being endorsed by really, really progressive Democrats. So again, I just thought I wanted to just call in and tell you guys that. And, because it's, we need to pay attention to this Suffolk County DA's race. It's really, really important.
Yeah, it is.
This Arroyo has a laser focus, on all of the, the progressive liberal buzzwords. And again, I used to be a Democrat. I'm now an independent. And I'm telling you, this guy is not right for the job.
And you said you were having a coffee thing. What were you saying?
So I'm gonna have a coffee hour for the current DA Hayden in the next couple of weeks. So I just have to arrange it with his team. But I will I'll get it on. I'll put it once I have details. I'll put it on with the
put it on. I'll come to it if I don't have anything.
Yeah. No, actually, Todd, I'll make sure it works with your schedule. But I'm hoping we can get people because this is just.
Well, tell him to, like I said, I have somebody already talking to someone in his camp.
Yep.
And, tell him we get 400 to 700 views a week. That's not bad for somebody that's running for office.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess he's got a pretty good Winthrop support base. But, it's just this. I just hope people pay attention to this race because it's really, really important.
Kathleen, did you? So you weren't on early, were you, when we were talking about my meeting with Lydia today?
No, I was gonna talk to you later. No, I didn't hear anything about how Lydia was the one that what's the word whatever planned this wasn't a debate, the forum tonight.
Yep.
So I didn't hear anything about how that went.
Yeah, when you get home, listen to the first.
Watch the live stream.
Watch the live stream.
Over.
I don't want to mar your opinion. I want you to form your own.
Yeah, I'm dining here.
All right.
All right, guys. I'm going
Thanks,
to Kelly's Pub to get a pizza.
All right. Enjoy your pizza.
Enjoy the pizza.
Call back anytime.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye. All right, buddy.
Wow, another hour.
Yeah, another hour. This is episode, I think, like 48. We're coming up on 50.
Yeah, we are. Wow.
So, yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. So, you want to take us out?
Yeah, I do. Good night. I do want to stress again, though. I don't know. For anybody that is listening, that did watch, that did support Lydia, try to forget I'm the guy giving you the message. I mean, I honestly went in there sincerely to try to build a bridge. It's what I've been trying to do. And there was no interest in that whatsoever. And it's a shame because, you know, the person who sits in the state rep seat talks to everybody. That's to me, that's someone who's interested in advancing the community. And I do hope people will get more involved locally. Like I said, all politics, starts at the local level.
There you go.
That's it.
All right.
So thank you for joining us again.
Yeah. And like I always say, thank you for watching. If it wasn't for you people, then it would just be me and Todd talking. Yeah. You are the engine that runs this machine. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your contributions to the show. And keep it up, because we will.
And if you like it, keep sharing. Keep sharing.
Share it. If you like the show, share it. Share it. I'll be rebroadcasting it throughout the week and throughout the weekend anyways. I'll be re-airing it. So, Rob DeMarco, if it's not on a Monday night, then you don't have to call. No one's going to answer. All right. We will see you next Monday.
See you guys next week.
All right.